Hello everybody, Immersed here and welcome to Temple of the Jade Serpent on a Fire Mage. We're basically going to be looking at the Fire Mage today, just like we do in all the other Missing Pandaria Temple of the Jade Serpent videos. So let's get started. Fire Mages have had a lot of changes to them, and have had a lot of buffs, and basically I really haven't found anything I don't like on the Mage class as of yet. And I have done Fire Mage and Arcane, and my Arcane video I'm going to be posting with my Fire Mage video today. And once again, let me just quickly take this opportunity to apologize. I've had some problems with my uploading process and the processing process. Once my videos are uploaded, it either doesn't work or it just takes forever. I'm really very terribly sorry about this. I think I've found a way around it, so I hope these post fine today. Alright, so let's just jump right into the video. Fire Mages have had a really good change to Combustion, and Combustion basically does direct damage, applies a dot, and it basically does the same thing, just on a little less scale, in the sense of the cooldown now is 45 seconds. So what that means is for AoE mobs and single target mobs who aren't going down, you can use more combustions on a boss, you can use more combustions in a dungeon. As you can see, I just used one there, and I'll be able to use one on the boss. I personally really like this, and there is a glyph to basically increase the damage and the duration and the cooldown of it by 100% if you want that glyph. I personally don't. I love the cooldown of it. I love the how much you can use it. So basically, let's talk about rotations. And right there, you're going to see I put Living Bomb up first. And then basically what Living Bomb does is it applies a debuff called Pyromaniac for the duration of Living Bomb. And what Pyromaniac does is increases the damage of your direct fire spells like Fireball, Pyroblast, I believe Infernal Blast, Scorch. So that is very useful to have always on your target. So basically, my opener rotation on bosses is Pyroblast, Living Bomb, Combustion, Infernal Blast, and I spam Fireball. Once I get that right there, as you see in my character, that's called Heat Up. I need one more crit to basically proc a instant Pyroblast. When I get that, I will use Infernal Blast to proc a instant Pyroblast. Keep Combustion on cooldown on the bosses, and obviously use Mirror Image and my Mage Heroism, and keep Living Bomb up. It's very easy, very fun class. So later on in the video, we're going to go a little bit in depth of AoE and basically show you some examples. But one thing I do want to touch on for a mage class is Scorch no longer comes with Fire Mages. It is in the level 15 talent tree. And I really think it's necessary to have as a Fire Mage. Mainly, I don't want to say mainly a Fire Mage, but it really does help with any class of mage. For example, on my Arcane video, you're going to see I have one. And on this very boss fight, it really helps me because it enables me to move. Even though when I have to move, I can still do damage. It's not my highest damage, but I'm still contributing to killing the boss, even when I have to move. And there are a lot of fights, even on live right now, where you have to keep moving, you have to stay out of certain things on the boss. So even right here, you see I'm using it. And right there, I got 2 crits, so I got a Pyroblast up there. My Pyroblast critted with my Infernal Blast, so I got that up there. And also, one thing I do want to point out is when you use Combustion, it resets the cooldown on Infernal Blast. So that is very useful. So as you can see right here, I'm basically DPSing just by the crits through Scorch and Infernal Blast, and I'm keeping my my Living Bomb up and my Pyromaniac. It is a very useful, very easy, very fun class, very hard hitting. As you can see, 57,000 Pyroblast right there. It is a very fun spec, very fun. And I'm also using Molten Armor, which basically increases my crit chance and reduce the physical damage I take by, I believe, 6%. Alright, so here's what I talk about AoE. Let's see what I do here. So I put my Living Bomb up. I get a crit with my... So basically, anytime I use Inferno Blast, it crits. And because it crits, I get something called Ignite. And what Ignite does is it puts a percentage of what I hit for on the target. And when I use Inferno Blast again, basically, it will spread it among all the targets. So this actually wasn't the fight I was thinking of. It's just around the corner, and we will see just how much AoE numbers we can get on my screen. So right here I have Heat Up. So my priority is going to be get a Living Bomb, immediately get a Inferno Blast to get my instant Pyro Blast, get my Fireballs out there. And as you can see, my Fireball is actually keeping my Ignite up. Okay, so let's talk about AoE on this fight. This is the fight I was thinking of. I'm getting my Pyroblast out there to get my Pyroblast debuff. I'm getting my Living Bomb up there. My Combustion. Use Inferno Blast to spread everything. Use that Pyroblast, and use Blizzard. And that is a lot of numbers for a Fire Mage. And I actually did not use Flame Strike on this one, because I just knew they would drop way, way, way too quick. So I'm going to always try to open with Pyroblast just to get my dot up there. Use Inferno Blast right after in case my Pyroblast crits, which it did right there. Okay, let's go back to the AoE rotation. Get my Living Bomb up there. My Pyroblast. Combustion, Inferno Blast, Blizzard. That is a lot of damage. That is very, 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 very fun to play. So one thing I want to touch on mages, and maybe a live Fire Mage right now that hasn't had the chance or opportunity to play the beta or see the beta, is asking, well, why are you using Blizzard? You shouldn't be using Blizzard. Well, what they're doing in Pandaria is the magic specialization, and what I mean by that is the increased damage Fire gets for Fire, the increased damage Arcane and Frost get for Arcane and Frost has been removed. So basically, in the tooltip, what Blizzard has said is use whatever AoE spell you deem necessary in the situation. And for personally me, I love Blizzard. I think it's a great spell. The channel time is very long. I really like it, and I'm very happy I can use it again on my Fire Mage. So just so everybody knows, in this dungeon, I am really trying to contribute more so to DPS, because my Hunter and Shaman, you know, I can do more overall AoE, at least sustained AoE, so I'm really trying to pull that role. And that's another thing you gotta think about when you go into dungeons, even PvP. You know, let's talk about dungeons first though. When I'm in dungeons, I look at my other two DPS, I'm like, okay, can I do more AoE, or can I do more single target than them? And in this case, I basically decided to put my playstyle towards getting some AoE down, as you see on the initial boss fight right here. And, you know, going back to PvP, do I want to, you know, if there's a huge fight and I'm on a mage, should I Blizzard, hit everybody for a little bit and slow them down, or should I single target? So it is really very necessary, I would say, to think how you want to play your character once you get into a situation. You can't always say, okay, well, I'm going to go single target, because you may have 2 rogues in your dungeon, or you may have 5 rogues in your initial rush in the battlegrounds, and there might be 5 defenders. You may need to, you know, AoE, slow them down, panic the healer. The healer will definitely be like, oh crap, everybody's dropping, what do I do? And especially with the Shatter effect, if you lay down Ring of Frost, and every mage gets Shatter now, and what Shatter is, for those of you who may not know, is it is a increased critical strike chance by 50% on targets that are frozen, and every mage gets that. So combine that with Deep Freeze, a 5-second stun that freezes the target, even in PvP, that is very, very useful. And then you get the Major Glyph where Deep Freeze is now off the cooldown. It's a lot of damage. So right here I use my mirror images. I try and keep my Living Bomb up on the target. My Inferno Blast I use when I have a Pyroblast. I get my Combustion out there when I have my Living Bomb, my Ignite, my Pyroblast, and any other dot I have up there to just sustain more. And right here, as my Fireball's in the air, I see I get a heat up, so I use my Inferno Blast. Get my Pyroblast back up there. And there you go. It's a very, very simple class. Very, very simple. Very fun. Alright, so we all know how to open up on a Fire Mage now. You use your Pyroblast, Living Bomb, Combustion, Inferno Blast, and Blizzard. If you're not top on DPS charts after this, contact Blizzard. You should be. At least on AoE charts. So again, Pyroblast, Living Bomb, and I did actually try to do this on live commentary yesterday, but for some reason I had no music in here, and for some reason YouTube matched it to a third-party content, and I had to remove it because I don't want to get, you know, sued, and I'm not that kind of person that would even try to go under the ropes, so to speak. I wouldn't try to hide it. You know, I'm a very fair, I'm a very truthful person, I'm a very honest person. I'm not, I don't want to get involved, and I also don't want to, you know, it's almost like someone taking my videos and trying to get credit for it. It's you know, the song wasn't my work, and it wasn't even in my video. I had no song in my video, so I just had to remove it. And I realized, you know, I said I would have videos out once a day, and I really, truly do apologize again, because I am really trying. It's just, you know, YouTube, I'm just having a little bit of problem with that, and I really, really appreciate your guys' patience and your guys' understanding, and thank you guys very much. Alright, so once again, go right back to the boss fight. Try and keep Living Bomb up, Combustion, and Inferno Blast. Well, I would say keep Living Bomb up, Combustion on cooldown, use Inferno Blast when you get a heat up proc so you can get an instant Pyroblast. Keep your Pyroblasts up, and spam Fireball, and anytime you have to move, use Scorch. And I never interrupt a spellcast to cast Pyroblast, because what happens in Pandaria is your Pyroblast crit can actually proc either a heat up proc, or it can proc another Pyroblast. So I never interrupt it. I always try and cast it with something, so if I'm in the middle of my next cast, I can get an instant Pyro. It will be great. So again, I see here that my Pyroblast is not up. I know my Combustion's up. I use my Inferno Blast, and just go right back to normal DPSing. Now, unfortunately, I won't be able to have any game music in here because you know, YouTube may still recognize the Blizzard music as that song, so I'm gonna unfortunately have to basically just put my voice in it. There will be no background music, and I don't even know if that will work. If it works, I'm gonna be happy. If it does work, I'm sorry, because I know, you know, listening just to my voice may be a little bit boring. But the next videos will not have this. Again, I'm very sorry, guys. I really do feel bad about this, but you know, it's kind of out of my control. It's not really my fault. Like, I did not have the song in it, and for some reason YouTube thought I did. So, you know, you got no control over it. You just gotta kind of accept it. So as you can see right there, I had a Pyroblast proc, but I casted it with Fireball just in case they both crit and I got another Pyroblast. Also, touching on Scorch a little bit, Scorch is very good to have for any class of mage, and for another reason would be PvP. You know, arcane mages are kind of forgotten about in PvP right now because they don't have very many moving spells. So right now this enables all mages to have Scorch, so that's very, very good for PvP and PvE. So we all know the single target rotation by now. Now what I'm going to do when the shadows pop up right here is I'm going to get my living bomb up on 1. Right here, my living bomb up. I'm going to spread it with Inferno Blast, and I'm going to Blizzard. Cone of Cold just to finish it off with a Dragon's Breath right after. Get my Pyro Blast right back up there because I see my combustion is just about to come off cooldown. Get my living bomb. My living bomb is already up, so I'm not going to use it. I'm going to use combustion. Now I get my living bomb up. Keeps filling with my fireball. And right there, as you can see, both my fireball and my pyroblast critted, and again my pyroblast critted, so I had a heat up proc. So it's very, very smart, I would say, to cast anything with a pyroblast just basically to have an extra chance of getting another pyroblast crit immediately after. So right there I hit him with a Dragon's Roar, get my living bomb up, spread it with my Inferno Blast, start my blizzards. Okay, and we're going to try and finish him off here. Just a very, very simple single target DPS rotation, very fun. And there we have it, Temple of the Jade Serpent on a Fire Mage. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I definitely enjoyed recording it for you guys and playing it. Thank you very, very much again. If you liked it, subscribe, like, and comment. And as always, happy hunting. Thank you guys.